Yes. We try different wines.
What's your favorite wine? Red or white? Hold on, first.
Red.
Okay, all right.
I'm sophisticated.
A part of me was just like, y'all, we've been great. You're just now figuring it out, but we've been great. That's who we are. It's in our DNA.
Like, do my Colossal Deadpool, like impersonation, 1 or 2 moments, right? It's.
Listen, I'm sitting here in my head going, I wonder if I can somehow sniff the traffic going from the armband. It's got to be talking to an API or something.
To the next cocktail, to the next conversation. Yo, what up, C3 Squad? We are back. Y'all know what it is. It's the C3 Podcast, Cocktails, Coaches, and Conversation. And it's your boy, your host, your uncles, aunties, third cousins, baby mamas, roommates' favorite host, your boy, David Lee. We coming in here. So, look, this is our interview segment. And, of course, y'all know how we do on this podcast. I always make sure that we try and get the best interviews for you, what's going on, people who are representing the culture and is doing something. And so y'all know I always say all the guests that come to this podcast are special. So we got another special guest coming at you, Mr. Jermaine Murray. Welcome, sir.
Wagwan. Gotta embrace my Jamaican.
There you go, Wagwan.
Yo, thank you so much for having me here. It's truly an honor.
Yeah, man. No, thanks for taking the time to come on, man. So, I'm gonna give the people a little bit of background, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and give them all fully. But so C3 Squad, how this came apart, right? And actually, me and Jermaine were chopping it up last weekend, and I meant to go back on LinkedIn and find it, but I saw a post that he put on LinkedIn about his company and his mission and what he's about. And I was like, nope, gotta have him on the podcast. I was like, this dude, I was like, all right, come hella high water. I got to link with this dude. I got to connect with him because everything he's about is what I'm about. And I want to make sure that I help him get to this mission and spread this message as fast and wide as possible. And I was like, yo, this would be a great conversation to come and chop it up on. So I hit him up. And as being the gracious, humble man he is, like, because he's got, like, y'all know me, you know what I'm saying? I got a little following on LinkedIn. He got a huge following on LinkedIn. So I was like, we're going to see. I'm going to message him and see if he just be like, whatever. But he hit me back, which is dope. And we've been chopping it up, man. And it's I'm glad that he did. And so, Jermaine, just let the people know about what you got going on and the mission that you're trying to accomplish.
Man, I guess in to give you guys just like the cliff notes, my mission is to help and empower as many Black people as I can through employment. Right now, that looks like particularly with the tech industry. But when I start thinking about, how we can share these resources and get them out, it's going to go wider. Right now, my company, Jupiter HR, we're running this initiative called the Jupiter 500. We're trying to get 500 Black people jobs in tech. Currently, we are at 332.
Right.
Yeah, man. Last one was really close to my heart. Was a client that turned out to be Jamaican, right? Bop. Jamaicans know what it is. She's in her 60s, and she was working in healthcare for the last 20 or so years. And I'm not like everyone knows that right now, healthcare practitioners and teachers have been going through it with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And she saw what was going on with this monkeypox business, and she was like, I'm out. So her daughter hit me up, and we got to work it, and we did her resume. We coached her on her on interviewing, did her LinkedIn, and she called me. Her daughter sent me a text last week, and I made a LinkedIn post about it, saying that her mom got a job. It's remote, and like she's ecstatic for like the first time in her life. It's paying her more than what she's ever made. And like the fact that she's going to be able to make more money with less stress, less hours, higher quality of living. It's amazing. And that's exactly what we try to do and why we do it for those kind of stories.
Right. Man, that's absolutely amazing. And I did see that LinkedIn post, and it was another LinkedIn post that you had posted. And I was like, look, I'm for all of this. Right. I've been in, I'll tell anybody, like I've been in the tech career for going on 20 years now. And it has definitely changed the trajectory of my life and given me some cool stories that I've been able to do, things to do for my family, stuff like that or whatever. And it's definitely, there's room for there's so much room for more of us in this field, right? And the last 2 years specifically, I've been in clubhouse rooms. I've been on other podcasts, like talking about this, like how to break into tech and the different things, right? And giving people advice from just what to specifically cybersecurity. People always ask the same question, I want to be in cybersecurity, like what kind of roles are there? I'm like, man, like that's like asking I want to go to the beach and get a particular type of sand. Like it's so much to do here. And I just tell people, like, honestly, just be curious, right? Like be curious, have that mindset of wanting to go and tinker and figure something out. I mean, because that's what I could say, at least in cybersecurity, right? It's really all about, right? It's just looking at something and saying, okay, how do I do this with this system? How do I manipulate this in that way and stuff like that? And there's so many different skill sets. People think it's just all coding, but there's so much other stuff that goes into it. Like some of the best quote unquote hackers I know don't have a technical degree at all, right? They background in philosophy or history, right? They're tinkerers, right? They have that mind to want to break things apart. So I'm super glad that you are taking on this mission, and we've already linked up before. I said, whatever I can do to help, we will. Part of that is this, but also, we're going to connect, offline and make sure that we continue to push and promote that brand. But so tell me a little bit about how Jupiter HR came to be, right? There's always a story, right? So, what was the moment, the day that you were like, all right, this is what I got to do?
So it's funny you mentioned like backgrounds and people not having technical backgrounds and working in tech. I'm totally with that. That's actually me. I am a technical recruiter. I've been a technical recruiter for like 7 years now, and I'm a career coach. And people always think that I went to school for HR. Didn't go to school for HR. I went to school for broadcasting. I had every intention of trying to become the Black Larry King. And I used to, my radio name was Audio Chocolate. I shit you not. My girl cringes. Like when I tell her like I don't know who has more nicknames, me or Shaq, right? But I've definitely been inspired by Shaq to have nicknames, right? And my girl cringes at all of my nicknames. But like Audio Chocolate is the one that she absolutely hates the most. And like that's what I was going by, Audio Chocolate, right? A girl called me that once because like I had morning, get the morning voice, you get the extra bass of voice, right? And I'm like, yo, it's so ridiculous, it's got to stick. So I went to school for radio, and I had a segment on Sirius XM here in Canada where I was co-hosting a show called Norm at Night with Storm and Norman Rumack for all the OGs that know from Toronto. And we were talking I was hosting their basketball segment, me and my boy Akeem, and we did that for about 18 months. It was from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. right, Monday to Fridays, downtown Toronto. Whereabouts are you based out of?
I'm in Atlanta.
You're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I don't even really know Atlanta like that, but like I'm pretty sure that you like whatever suburb is like an hour away from the core of Atlanta. That's the suburb I lived in, and that's where I drove every night, right, to do this like barely paying job. I don't think I was even breaking even on gas money, but like I loved it. They canceled our show. Like, I went in one day and they're like, yo, give it all you got. Do the best you can do. I did my best. Oh man, I think I went on a rant about Masai, about Brian Colangelo, who's the OGM of the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
And about how there were rumors that Masai Ujiri was thinking about leaving Denver. And we had this big time exec who was only here for like a year. Can't remember his name, but he took over a completely changed the culture of MLSC. And like I went on this rant about why I'm tired of them giving like Brian Colangelo like excuse and chance year after year. I wanted to say if he was black, he would have been fired 5 seasons ago. But I got to stay for 9 years. I had to watch this guy fumble Like we've only had one number one draft pick in our whole entire history, and this guy chose Andrea Bargnani. So like that always irks me. So I went off on this rant, right? And like when it was done, they're like, "Yeah, man, that was a great last hurrah." And I was like, "Last hurrah? What happened? What do you mean last hurrah?" And they're like, "Yeah, the show's gone. Like we're all jobless." And so I tried for months to get back into radio, and I got desperate. I only had like at this point I only had like $700 in my bank account, and I found a resume writer. And this resume writer was like, "Yeah, I can do your resume. Done broadcast resumes all the time. Yada yada yada. Give me $654.19." It wasn't like that was it after tax. $654 a night. You could tell I'm traumatized because like
yeah.
$654.19, right? And it took 2 weeks, and he like the worst part is like he literally lived on the other side of town. Like he lived on the other side of our downtown core, so it was like you know that hour drive became an hour and a half, right? But like I found him. He was down the street from the sports station I wanted to apply to. So I just like, you know, same day that he gives you the resume, I'm literally going to drive to the station and physically hand my resume in. He gave me the resume. It was a 6-page resume. The man charged me $100 per page. What do you know? I drove down to the sports station. I remember I walked in, and you gotta love Jamaicans because it was a Jamaican lady sitting at the front desk. I walked in and I said, "Hello, miss. I'm here to see the HR director." And she's like, the sports station is called TSN. It's basically our version of ESPN, right? Imagine walking into ESPN's building and being like, "Yo, I want to see the HR director." And this lady, like, she's like, "Appointment," and then she was like, she saw me and she's like, "What do you want to see the HR director for?" And I handed her my resume. And I'm like, "I'm here to apply for a job." And I didn't have a job posting. I just had this lady this like stack of paper that was my resume, and she looked so offended. I can't speak patois, but like she basically told me nobody with 100 things to do wants to read a short story in the form of a novel. That's your resume. Would you want to read this? And when I said no, she gave it back to me. And I went home that night and I studied up on, I started just like for the next like 3-4 months, I literally studied everything there was about resumes. And I was like, I want to understand the psychology behind a resume, the psychology behind it was like what makes a resume good. And I came up with my philosophy that like you always want to, whenever I'm writing a resume, I try to put myself in the hiring manager's shoe. And I always go like, if I was a hiring manager, what do I have to see on this resume that's getting me go, yo, I want to talk to this person. So I started writing my resumes, and I started getting some really good hits, really like response rates with my resumes, to the point where, and this is how you know I was young and we were up to no good. So my man's in there, like we used to make bets on whether or not I'd hear from a job posting. It's like nerdy CeeLo. But we making bets, we're betting, and you know, I'm like they're seeing it firsthand, like this heavy response rates, because like I think it got to the point where like I was shooting like 86%. Like I was getting really cocky with the applications, point where like I'm like, yeah, I know they're gonna hit me back in like less than 3 days. And like mans are hitting me back in like 3 days. So I started doing these interviews, I started getting these offers, I started being picky and choosy my jobs. And then my boys were like, yo, we need work too, like wagwan. And I did their resumes. They started getting interviews. I started coaching them on interviews, and then they started getting jobs. And one thing led to the next. And people around the block are like, Jermaine does resumes. Jermaine could do interviews, and that's how Jupiter HR was born. I've been doing tech recruitment for 6 years, but I've been doing career coaching for 7 years, right? Okay. And I remember I was working at Enterprise rental car at the time. And I don't know if you know about Enterprise. Folks, 2 things about Enterprise. One, if you say, I'm looking directly in the camera when I say this too, eh? One, if you say, and repeat after me, if you say, I'm not completely satisfied with my rental, they will give you up to a 15% discount, right? Because like mans get fired over low customer service scores. So, and number two, they make when the car preps aren't there, they make the managers, i.e. me, the man running the branch, clean cars in their suits, right? Like I remember like the day that broke me, I had no clean suits left, and I had to actually wear a really good suit to work. And like within like it was like 30 degrees. I think this would be like 70, 80, maybe like 90 degrees Fahrenheit for you guys. It was hot, right? And I had to wash a truck. It was a disgusting truck. I had to wash a truck in my suit. And I remember sitting down and I remember doing this. And I could see the sweat on my hand. It was a gray suit. It was a gray suit, bro. It was Steve Harvey, bro. Like,
He had the Harvey suit.
I could go grab it. It's in there. But I remember, and like, you know, it came with this. I didn't have the hat, but it came with this suede hat. I remember seeing the sweat stain. I was like, this is like my thing is to usually do this with my hat. I was like, yo, I would have ruined my hat. I was just cheese. I was like, yo, I'm done with this. I was like, if one more motherfucking customer comes through that door, I'm jumping over the counter and I'm slapping the nigga. I was setting it myself. So like, I went to go take a break, and on my lunch break, I said to myself, yo, if you could do anything in the world and not be judged for it, what would you do? Right? And I was like, yo, I want a career where they pay me to play video games. And I was like, okay, are you going to put the work in to be a pro gamer? Because I had a few friends that were pro gamers. And I just had a montage of like their training sessions. I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, I want to enjoy video games. They like, right. They ain't got no, ain't no soul in their eyes, bro. They're like, they lost that twinkle. But I was like, you know what? I want to get a job So I was like, I want to get a job in gaming, right? Preferably at PlayStation, because I don't want to be doing this Hunger Games shit when a PlayStation drops, right? Right. This is when the PlayStation 4 came out, PS5 dropped. I had to do the Hunger Games shit to get the PS5. So it is what it is. So I went on PlayStation's website and I looked for every single job that was like that I could do. And I was looking for communication heavy ones. You guys can see that I love to chat, right? So I was looking for jobs where talking was the job. And I came across a posting for technical recruiter. And like I put 2 and 2 together and I was like, I could do this. I'm just missing the X amount of years to work at PlayStation. So that was, I knew right then and there the company I wanted to work for and the thing I wanted to do, right? And I realized that to do it together, I had to do it separately, right? So I went and I got an agency job. I worked at agencies, worked my way up, did internal, and I got the technical recruitment stuff. And Jupiter HR was always a thing, but like the black focus that we got, I helped a Russian dude get a job that paid him like $120,000. He was a Java developer. It was remote. This is back in 2018. So it wasn't really common, right? It was like I'm working remote. I remember this man like skipped into the office that day. His head nearly buck up the ceiling. I was like, wow, like this guy's energetic. And like he signed his deals, like he signed his deal so hard, like the like you can see, like I felt like there's a little bit of an engraving on the table, right? And I'm like, yo, Sergey, like, why are you so hyped? Like, I get it, it's a good job, but like you hype. What's up? And he's like, when he came to Canada, he had a hard time getting a job because he didn't have Canadian experience. Right. So he had to take contracts. His wife's family have a space here in Toronto, right? But the jobs and the contracts he was getting were out in like West, like Calgary, Edmonton, like, you know, like these are some like far away places. Yeah. You know, a couple hours on a flight. So he was saying that he ended up missing his son's first steps and first words because he was working a contract away from home. And he's like, my son's about to start daycare. I'm going to walk my son to daycare every single day. I'm not going to miss a single moment now because of this job that you guys got me. And like, I'm like, damn, yo, that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
God, I wish he was black. Now, before some of y'all looking at me and be like, yo, that sounds racist as hell. It's not racist because we only represent less than 4% of the industry here in Canada, less than 9 in the America. But also, like, he said something about being a father that resonated with me. I have a very complicated relationship with my dad. Like, it is super complicated. Like, I could probably write a screenplay with like this complicated. You ever see Fences? That's my relationship with my dad. Fences, right?
Yeah. All right. So the screenplay's been written, is what you're saying.
The screenplays are written. You know what I'm saying? They casted Denzel. I was a mess. But like the same, even with Fences too, right? This applies. I have a complicated relationship with my dad. All of my friends, right? The ones that look like me have complicated relationships with our dads. Some are there, but aren't present. Some have never been in the picture.
Yeah.
Right. And when you like look at like the common denominator as like, why would a man do that? Right. It always comes down to like emotional maturity and finances. Right. You know, and I like to think that if these men who've like failed us as sons and who have complicated relationship with them as men, if these men had the opportunity to get a salary, to have work that like doesn't compromise their soul, doesn't like make them work in hellish conditions, right? That actually provides for them and gives them value, it becomes much harder to abandon your family.
Oh, see, you preaching now. You're preaching. Hold on.
I'm just saying. So I got some issues I'm working out in therapy with regards to my dad. I'm a man with daddy issues. I freely admit it. If you follow me on Twitter, you already know what's good, right? And I'm open about that because I want more people to go into therapy to like treat stuff like this. And you know, like I was like, you know, if I could prevent another, like I really hurt with my relationship with my dad, and I'm always like to the point where I'm like, I don't even think I would like wish this kind of hurt on like my worst enemy. The sad thing is that my worst enemy probably is going through something like this too. But like, I was like, if I could prevent that kind of like emptiness within other people, especially people from my community, that shit would make me like, it would help me process some of my own hurt. And that's when I like started realizing I'm a recruiter. I literally have hiring managers being like, yo, can you introduce me to people that want jobs? I literally know like a bunch of people that be like, yo, help us get jobs for my community. I'm like, let's go, right? And I remember we hit the ground running. 2019 is when I started keeping track, and we helped 67 people in 2019 get new jobs in tech. And I was like 60 fucking 7 people. Yeah. And I wasn't even really trying to go for anything. I'm like, what happens if I'm like, I can get to 100. Yeah. I got to 67 people without even like really I tried, but I wasn't really like pushing for it. Like I was like, I told people like, yo, I'll either recruit you for a job, or I'll do your resume, or I'll coach you for an opportunity. Even if the opportunity is not with me, if you're black, I got your back, right? And I helped 67 people that way. I was like, I bet I'm gonna double down, get to 100 next year. We got to 85, and we were on a roll like for the first half of the year, and then literally the pandemic like took away like 3-4 months worth of progress.
Yeah.
We still managed to finish off with 85. And I remember like, yo, all right, I've been like writing in my journal and my diary, keeping track of all this. Right. And I was like, I need to like turn it up a notch. So it was like December 20th, 2020. I made a post on Twitter saying that I got 85 black people jobs in tech this year. I'm getting 100 people jobs in tech next year, come hell or high water, by any means necessary. And I've been taking that Malcolm X thing, by any means necessary. I was like, any way I can help a black person get a job in tech, I'm gonna help them get a job in tech, any means necessary. If they come up to me and they're like, yo, a post that you made, a resource that you gave us, like your resume template, your cover letter template, you know, the advice you give on in your tweets or in your posts, or I was a client of yours, and like the advice you gave me, the resume you made me, or like you interview prep me, or you referred me to somebody, you made an introduction, or you directly recruited me for a role. It counted. And we did 126 in 2021. Hit 100 people in September. Yo, there are some organizations out there where their whole entire team's black. You know what I'm saying? TD Bank hired 10 black scrum masters from me in one shot. Brethren. Yo, we were killing it. It was great, man. I was like, it was great. Like, yeah, it was amazing. And one of my, like, all my friends got jobs through that program.
Yeah.
One of my homies, my best friend Adrian, he worked in fitness since 2011. That's 10 years of fitness. And he just never thought he'd be able to like get a job, fitness sales. Right. He never thought he'd be able to get a job in tech. Bro, we got him a job that was remote and paid him what his base salary was plus his commission in the base alone, and they still gave him extra commission on top of that, on top of all the goodies you get from working at the tech company, free gear, the free screens, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. They flew him out, man, for drinking, and he was chilling in hotels. I'm pretty sure he had a couple of like intimate relations. Like he was man was living his life. And he said to me when he got the offer, right? He was like, "Yo, you literally got me an offer that in the base salary pays like everything that I make, right? All that extra incidentals and shit." He's like, "You got me an offer I can't refuse. My nigga, you are the job father." And I was like, "Yo, you know I love, if there's nothing I love more than a ridiculous nickname, you know I love ridiculous nicknames." So I took it, right? And I started calling myself the job father. I was joking. I didn't think you would catch on. And then people were like, "Yo, it's really great marketing." Like, yeah, you are the job father. You got all the referrals. You got me this job, blah, blah, blah. And like, I'm like, I like that. I like that when people think that's what they think. Like, I already love The Godfather. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I think there are 3 perfect movies in the entire existence of the world: The Lion King, The Dark Knight, and The Godfather. Hey, yo! I said what I said. I said what I said. Yo, no. Name a better animated film than The Lion King, and I will call you a liar.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh, look, man. Look, everybody's entitled to their opinion, man. Like, and so I tell everybody, it's like, it is your God-given right to be wrong. It's cool. Like, nobody, like, we all are given that. So, let's take your list. It's all good. But I mean, since you went there, I top 3 movies all time to me is Black Panther, and Black Panthers. I mean, that's it. I love The Job Father. That's what I'm gonna call you from now on too. Of course, I'm gonna send a bunch of people your way. There's some connects I got coming for you that I think would just be good to have in your network. That same thing, supporting the same thing for diversity, equity, inclusion, especially within the tech field. So I think the more we can connect all of us together, right? It's a force coming, right? I've been very vocal, especially in the tech field, about holding these companies accountable to the pathetic numbers that they turn out and present. As much as they want to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, change their logo to a black fist during February, or when it's Pride Month, all this stuff, whatever. Like they really don't want to do any of this. They just want to seem like they're doing it. And so it's going to take more of us getting into the field and holding them accountable and making these bridges and accessible to us to get in there. Because I'm very much like, you can't change the system from the outside, right? Like, people want to sit there, it's systematic, it's this, that, or whatever. Yeah, it absolutely is. But you can sit on the sideline and sit there and yell at it, or you can get in there and start making things happen, right? Because if you sit at the yell, you might as well just sit at the beach and lay out the ocean. That's all you're doing, right? The waves ain't going to stop because you're yelling at them. They're just going to keep going. So you want to make something happen, hop in there and do something. So I appreciate like everything that you're about and everything that you're doing. So for anybody that's listening or watching it right now, we're going to kind of wrap like this. Like, what are 3 things they can do right now, right? Don't do the thing like hit me up and book our services. We're gonna get you that later. But like if they listen and they watching right now, what are 3 things they can do? It's like, yo, I'm tired of this. If I gotta go and flip this goddamn burger one more fucking time, I'm gonna flip over a couch and do some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so give them 3 things they can do right now to kind of get them started on their journey to hop in the tech.
First thing that you need to do. All right. So if you're somebody that doesn't, if you are somebody that wants to work in tech and you have no idea of where to start, the first thing that you should do is sit down and make a chart, a three tier chart. And in the chart, in one block, you're going to put things I like to do and things I like. Next chart, you're going to put things that I'm good at. And next chart, you're going to put things that I've had success doing, right? And these are all skills that you want to write down. These are going to tell you, like the first chart is going to tell you what you genuinely enjoy just doing, activity-wise or subject matter expertise-wise. The second one is gonna be talking about skills that you have that you just feel like you're strong with, right? Maybe you're more proficient doing one thing or the other. You know, maybe you're somebody that does a little bit of everything. Maybe you're just one specific niche, right? Yeah. And the third one tells you about the successes that you've had with particular skills, how that manifests, and whether or not that's good enough to like if like you've had an actual achievement with it, right, in the workplace or your professional. But that basically says how you'd be able to sell that skill, and you want to get that understanding so that you have a destination on where to go, because that's the most important thing, knowing where you want to go and then reverse engineering, working backwards to get to that place. I told that story earlier about me trying to get into PlayStation, how I got into tech recruitment, but that's exactly what this is, right? Have a North Star. My goal was to get into tech, to get into PlayStation, right? How was I going to get into PlayStation? You know, as a job, through a job. What kind of job? Something that involves talking, right? What involves talking? Right. Recruitment, right? Am I qualified for a recruitment job right now? I'm not. What do I need to get a recruitment job? I need this. Can I do that? And you want to chart it out so that you have a career action plan that you can take step by step by step. Once you have that understanding about where you want to go and what you want to do, the next thing I would say to you is make a list of companies that interest you or that you want to work for. These could be companies that are solving a particular problem that you care about. Maybe they make a product that you like or that you can't live without. Or maybe they're just doing some really incredible dope shit. And you're like, yo, I got to be a part of that, right? Well, make a list, have multiple companies on it, and be aware of the stuff that they're hiring for and their value, but also target have an idea of people that you would like to engage with to get future jobs. And then last but not least, document like your learning path, right? If you got to have projects, and it's not only good enough to have projects, but you got to document your projects. So like get a blog going. You don't have to go viral for your blog to be worthwhile. You just need to put a hyperlink on your resume, and it'll do the rest of the work for you.
There you go. I love it, man. So there you go. If you're listening, you're like, man, I love everything he's talking about. What could I do right now? He just gave you the gems. Jermaine, let people know, where can they reach out to you at Jupiter HR? How can they get on the train? How can they become number 333 on the mission list?
Yeah, that's crazy. 333. My God. Well, you can book a session with us at jupiterhr.ca. You can follow me on Twitter at Jermaine Jupiter and on LinkedIn at Jermaine Murray. Or honestly, you can just Google the JobFather, and the black guy is me. A couple other white JobFathers. You know what pissed me off? The JobFather handle has already been taken on Twitter, and it's being used by a dude that hasn't been seen since 2009. And like, there's nothing I can do. I just have to take the L.
Did you just make one that says the real JobFather?
Nah, man. I don't like that. I want it clean.
I know you want it clean. I want it clean.
But yeah, get involved. Hit us up. We're remaking our site and our experiences, so like you'll be able to clearly identify what companies we can get you referrals at. And yeah, man, if you are a black person that's in need of help, and if you can't afford to book a session, just feel free to send me a tweet. I have a lot of material that's free that people can use that's helped.
Yeah.
You know, if you're part of the community, we have your back. We need more of you in here. And like, I'm not the only recruiter that cares about this. Like, there are a lot of us out here.
Yeah.
So like, there's space for you. We want you here.
It's dope. I love it, man. Real quick question. So you're in Canada. We talked about that. But you recruit across North America, right? So
I recruit globally.
Globally. Look at my man said I'm international, Dave.
Well, yeah. Some of
some
those
respect
300
on that.
people were in the UK and Germany, bro, and one of them was even in Japan. Like, get at me, dog.
There you go. All right, Jermaine. Yo, man, I appreciate you coming on. C3 Squad. Look, man, y'all know what it is. Y'all got the socials. I will put this when this drops. Check out the description. I'll put all this links, all this handles so you can get out of. And I know what it is. To the next cocktail, to the next conversation. I'll stay safe.